Greetings, greetings, greetings. This is Steve Tyndall from Paracordologist of Kindness. I thought about, I've had a lot of people ask me, do I have a tutorial on a such and such bracelet? Or I've had people compliment me on my work. And thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. I try to remain humble in this, and I'll tell you off the get-go. If you watch any of my videos, I'll tell you first off, I am not a YouTube content creator. I am not a filmmaker. I am a paracordologist. I make paracord bracelets. That's what I do. But I'll tell you, I am not an expert at this. I am not. I simply do it enough that I have learned from my own mistakes. Like most of us, we learn from our own mistakes. If I mess something up, I try not to get too frustrated about it, and I just chalk it up as a learning experience. I learned how not to do something, It's like Thomas Edison, he tried to make, I don't know if this is an actual quote or not, but, he's like, you've tried 117 times to make the light bulb, and you keep failing. He said, no, I haven't failed. He said, I just know 117 ways not to make a light bulb. Bam, there you go. Keep a positive attitude about it. I say this, practice, 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 persistence, and patience. All these come into play. It's just like anything else. The more you do it, the better at it you will get. Okay, but I thought about making, like a video, like the top 10 things you should know. You see all these people, they quote-unquote marketing their videos to try to get people to click on them and watch. Now, I'm not saying these videos are bad or that they don't have good information. They do. You can learn a lot from some of these videos people watch. But, and I thought about that, and I was like, well, you know what? I said, why don't I just, instead of doing one video with a bunch of, like the 10 things to, take your paracord game to the next level. Instead of making a video like that, I figured I'd just make a bunch of individual videos. When something comes to mind, I'll write the idea down, and I'll make a little video about it. But I figured, before I do that, why don't I just make a video on the tools I use? I know when I came into this, because I don't know anybody in my local area that does this. There's one lady I met she saw one of my bracelets one day, and we got to talking. She works at the veterinarian clinic. And she saw one of my bracelets, and she made a comment, and we got to talking back and forth. Couldn't find out that she made dog collars, but not with paracord. She just used, like the basic, nylon webbing, canvas webbing type material. And she said she had tried using paracord, but she too much time involved in doing all that, and she didn't know how to do it. But we had that conversation. That's the only person I know in my local area that came even close to doing what, making bracelets and things like that. So, I had to learn from YouTube videos, reading books, stuff like that. I picked up things. So, like I said, I figured I'd make a video and just talk about little tips and tricks I've learned on the way. But before I do, I figured I'd make the first video and just talk about the tools that I use, what I use and why I use them. And, what tools do you use? Comment below, show me. But let's see, where would I start? I guess we'll start with the basic thing, something that we all going to use, a pair of scissors. Now, I started off with an old cheap pair of scissors. Don't even know where I got these. I've had these down here in my shop for the longest time, and I started using them. And over time, they have dulled. They're pretty dull. I mean, I can run my finger across that blade. No fear of being cut. And they don't cut anymore. You have to saw with them. And it got to the point where they were so dull, and I was having to saw and put so much pressure on them that this handle right here has broken. We can see where it's cracked on the top and on the bottom. It has broken 3 or 4 times, and I've super glued it back. And they served their purpose. Believe me, they served their purpose. But I would invest. I would suggest investing in a good set of cloth shears. You see what I'm saying? My wife, I was fortunate enough that my wife, she allowed me to use her cloth shears. And for those who have mothers and grandmothers and stuff like this, you know that is a big deal. But she allowed me to use this, and she told me, she said, I'm going to let you use this because she knows that I'll use them. And I'm going to take care of them, and they're not going to cut anything except for paracord, which is probably about the best thing to be cutting with them. But she knows I'm going to take care of them. She said, I reserve the right at any moment to take them back from you. I said, okay, no problem. But these are solid metal. Hence, the handle's not going to break. That's a bonus right there. But these things, I'm telling you, this, if you can see this, probably can't see it very well, but the brand name on here is Ginger, and it's spelled Ginghger. If I'm not mistaken, these are German manufacturing. But these are some high dollar shears. These are running $30 plus US, somewhere around in that range. I priced them one day, and you know they cost more than the $10, $12, $15 sets you're gonna buy at the hobby store or Walmart or somewhere like that. These are actual fabric cloth shears, and yeah, they sharp. I wouldn't want to run my finger across that blade with any pressure, and they cut. They cut outstanding. Invest in a set of these if you can. Eventually, maybe not off the get-go, but eventually, if you're going to do this for any length of period, be a paracordologist, as I like to call it, invest in a set of these. Damn. That's probably something I use. We cut cord all the time. What's the next thing? Knotter's tool. Don't use this as much as I thought I would. And you can get one of these off of any of the numerous paracord websites. I won't name any paracord websites, but you can get one off of Amazon also. You can get a knotter's tool, and it comes with an array, an assortment of Fids or lacing needles. Get you a set of those. I think I got this and a couple of Fids. It all came in a set for like right at $15 US off of Amazon. Now you can go on one of these paracord sites and order, just the knotter's tool costs $30. Now, is it a better quality than this one? I don't know. I've never had one of those good ones. But to be honest, I don't use this as much as I thought I would. I got it, and I use it more. Not so much for the knotter. Every now and then I will use the end of it when I have to unweave a bracelet. But I use it more so when I finish a bracelet and I snip and singe the ends. I take that off, obviously, so this is not in the way. And I just use this piece right here because it has the texture, the knurling. The knurled in, I guess is how you would say that, when you go to melt your bracelet. Now, some people, I've got a smoothing tool, and I used that for a while, but I ended up using this because it gives that nylon paracord like a textured look. That's why I use that. What else? Let's see. Oh, this right here. I'll show you this. Oh, a ruler. Ruler. Can't go wrong with a ruler. A ruler, and right here, a seamstress tape, a flexible one, whether it be cloth or like this is some sort of vinyl plastic type material. I got a set of 4 of these. This is a 5-foot one. It's 60 inches. It's 5 feet. I got a set of 4 of these for less than $10 US off of Amazon. I got one here at my desk, which I very rarely use. I got one hanging over there where my spools are. My cord is spooled up, hanging from the ceiling. I've got one over there. That's the one I use most often. And then I got 2 kind of as spares in case one of these falls apart or something like that. But the Fids, this is what I was going to go. Fids. When you buy that knotter's tool right there, the one I bought, it came with a couple of different Fids. you know, random looking Fids here. Let's zoom in just a little bit so you can get a better look at these. I mean, they're just basic Fids. I got these two right here that it came with. Here's a flat one. This is like a type 3 Fid. It's flat, or it tapers down to a flat end. I don't use this one very much, but I do use it on occasion. Now these two curved ones, don't use these. Very rarely do I use these two curved ones. But these two right here, they're both, you know, I would call them type 3 Fids. But if you look, this one here on the bottom, it's real thick. It's got a real big circumference. It's real big around. Don't use it very much, but I do have it. Now this one, it's the same size as these in this pack get up right here, but it's just a lot longer, and that's why I keep it separate, just because, you know, it sticks out longer. So those two I don't use very often, but these are the ones I use. Now I do have a type 1 Fid in here for micro cord. And I use this one quite often, obviously, when I'm doing stitching. But this daughter's toy, it came with one of these, and then all these miscellaneous ones in this little box. But I have since went back and bought some. Now I bought the extra ones. I got 5 of them off of Amazon for just under $10 US. Now I know you can go buy one of these off of some Paracord website for $10 itself, about, give or take. And I'm thinking, what's the difference? Most likely they're all made in some factory in China. Just because you're getting it from one of these name brand Paracord websites that's marking the price up doesn't mean it's going to be any better. And in fact, it doesn't matter. As long as it's got that female end on the back that's threaded, that's all you need. And anytime you get into this, I don't care if it's the name brand ones, the cheap ones you get off Amazon, there's something you got to do with them. I got a video specifically for that. I'll put the link to it down below. Anytime you before you use any of these Fids or lacing needles, there's something you got to do to them. I'll share the link. Go watch it. But like I said, the daughter's toy came with like one of these and these, and I ended up going back and buying me, you know, a set of 5 off of Amazon for, you know, right at just under $10 US. And then I went and bought me another set. Same 5 set. You see what I'm saying? Because if you're going to get into this and you're going to be making some of these big, thick, more advanced bracelets that have six working cords or you know, 8 working cords, when you get down to the end, you're going to need Fids. It makes it so much easier when you have the Fids instead of having multiple Fids, one on each cord. Here, let's back out again. You got 4 cords on each side. You got a Fid on each cord, as opposed to when you get down to the end, you're trying to squeeze all that stuff into that tight space in them cord strands and that buckle, instead of having to take the Fid off this cord and put it on the next one, then feed it through, and then take the Fid off and put it on the next cord. That takes forever. I spent the money and just bought me some more Fids, and I highly recommend it. If you're going to make bracelets that are going to be like that, spend the money. It will. I'm telling you, it's the way to go. Okay, let me put this back in here so we don't lose it. I keep these in this little box. Got these little clips. They don't stay on very well, so I just got like a ponytail holder is what it is, a hair holder, a scrunchie, if you want to call it that, a bungee, a little tiny bungee on there to keep the lid from falling off. Let's see, what else? Hemostats. I got to sit there, and I got to sit here. I got these off of Amazon. Same thing. One's straight and one's curved. And I most often use the curved ones and I keep them over here on my desk. The straight ones don't use very often, but if you don't know, basically they're locking on the back. They click in place and then they're locked, right? So when you clip down on the cord, it's going to stay clipped on there. That's the beauty of these things. You can stick them through the cord, open them up, grab a hold of the cord, lock them in place, and you can pull it through. It can act as a fid, so to speak, a lacing needle. Makes sense? They do come in handy every now and then, but most of the time I just use the lacing needles, the Fids. But every now and then, one of these will come in handy. Especially when you get down and the end of the amount of cord you're working with is not long enough to fold it back over itself to get the Fid through the hole. You can stick this through there and it'll work. If you've ever been in that situation, you know what I'm talking about. But like I said, I don't often use these straight ones, but I have them. They came in a set, 15, give or take, $15 US off of Amazon. But I use the curved ones most often. I got them over here. Now, the thing I probably use the most, or the most useful thing, the thing I use the most is the scissors and the signatures tape. But the thing, I started off with these because I had these in my shop, and they're basic needle nose pliers. They got a blunt end. They don't have a sharp end on them, and that's what we're going for. We do not want to snag our cord. Everything we don't want to snag our cord. We're always trying to prevent snagging our cord, right? So the tips are blunted on the end. They're not sharp. But they're long, and the key thing about these is they don't have any teeth on them. They don't have any grooves, no teeth, no nothing. So when you're going to grab a hold of that cord and you're pulling it, if you do slip, because you will slip, is there less chance of you snagging the cord because of the teeth. Now, these aren't snag proof, they're snag resistant, because it will happen. You'll slide off that cord and it'll pinch right there on the end. It'll get a piece of it and it'll snag it right there. So just be careful. But it doesn't have the teeth, the grooves on there. It's smooth. Now, granted, when you go to grab that cord, you got to put some grip on it to get a hold of it, but they're less likely to snag. Now, that's what I started off with. And these are down here in my shop, and I used them for whatever. But when I decided to start using them on my paracord projects, I said, no more will they be used for anything else. Hence why the ends of them, if you can see, they're all shiny. I took my rotary tool, kind of ground them down to get all the grease and grud off of them. And I sanded them down and I cleaned them and got all the grease and dirt, grime and grease off of them. Therefore, I wouldn't get my cord dirty, right? But I since went and bought me a set of, I guess you'd call these jeweler's pliers. That's what they're made for, making metal jewelry. And they're the same principle. They're just a little bit smaller. And if you see the ends of them, they're tapered. The jaws on them are tapered, or conical shaped, actually. And they're blunted on the end. They don't have, yeah, there you go. They don't have pointy tips on them. So you're not going to be jamming holes in your cord. Remember, snags. We don't want snags. But just like the other set, there's no grooves. There's no teeth on these things. And the tips are a little bit smaller, so you can get down in that cord just a little bit better. And, you know, you can grab a hold of it and pull it. And like I said, there's no teeth, no grooves on it, so you're less likely to snag your cord. And I use these things, you know, other than the scissors and the measuring tape, I use these probably more than anything, and the Fids. But these right here, this old cheap set off of Amazon for less than $10 US. You can probably find these at a craft store in, you know, the jewelry section or whatever. But yeah, they're marketed as jeweler's pliers for metal jewelry. These are very good, very good. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else? That's probably the basics of what I use all the time. There's all other little things here and there. I'll throw this out there. Something that I found handy. You know, we all have scraps sitting around from where we've done things. And I'll show you what I've done here just recently. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I haven't done it. But I did it in the past couple of days. I've done this. I've got a cork board over there. Now, it's not anything fancy. It's not anything organized or anything like that. It's just what I've done. For those of you who know, I have to make a video about this one day and show people this. But I've got all my cord. I usually buy it in 100-foot hanks, 100-foot lengths, and I spool it up on these little cardboard spools. And I've just taken some wooden dowels and attached, some hooks to the in the shop to the ceiling. Comes down and wooden dowel. Basically what I got is a piece of paracord attached to the ceiling up here, and it goes down to a wooden dowel. And I got these wooden spools strung across there, right? And they're all down through my shop. Well, I have people every now and then, my wife or friends and family, they'll come down here. I've had people come, man, can I see? Yeah, come down here, I'll show you. Just be mindful, it's a shop. It's a man cave. I have a bench and bench grinders and saws and stuff. So, it's full-on shop. So be careful when you come down here. But they'll come down here and they want to see where I work or whatever like that. Or I'll have some people come in here that I'm going to make something for. And they're like, what colors do you got? I'm like, well, come in here in the shop. And they'll stand there in the shop and they'll look up at the ceiling, breaking their neck, and they're having to walk back and forth and look at all this stuff I've got hanging. So what I decided to do was take some of my pieces of scrap and just cut little swatches. We all know what swatches are. Cut little swatches and tack them on a cork board. And I've got them on that cork board in the same orientation that I've got them hanging on the ceiling, if that makes any sense. Like all the reds are together from dark to light. All the blues are together from dark to light. Makes sense? But what I've done is that's kind of just something I wanted to do. I thought about trying to get all artistic about it and put them in like a color wheel fashion around. I was like, that's too much time consuming and nothing like that. It might be, it's a neat idea, but nah. I make paracord bracelets. I don't make color wheels. But what I did do is something that I actually used is I took some of those swatches. I cut it off in 1-foot sections. Whatever cord, scrap. I used my scrap first, but there was some that I didn't have scrap pieces. I just went over and cut me off a 12-inch section. And I cut it into 4 equally long 3-inch pieces, right? One of those pieces is on that cork board, and like I said, they're in the order that I've got them hanging up. But I have made like a little swatch bucket, whatever. And this is more so. This is for me, but people come down here and they're trying to figure out what color goes with what, and this and that, what's going to look good together. Just like any swatch, paint swatches, carpet swatches, cloth swatches, same principle. See what I'm saying? And I've just got 3 of them. Why 3? Just because that was the number I chose. No specific reason on 3. But I got 3 of them. I just got them like little taped together. I come back, if I want to get real fancy, I come back and put me a whipping knot around it or something. But that's all that is. That way I can look at the colors, to see, will that look good together? Will that not look good together? How about that? Let's see, does that look good? Like I said, I do have people come down here to the shop, and I make a lot of custom work, let people pick their own colors, show them different designs, show them the different colors and this and that, and I'll work with them, and I'll come up with, me and the customer will come up with custom orders. But that's basically what this is for. I use this more so than the customers do, because I sit over here and I'll think about what colors, and that's something I do too. I'll throw this out there. It's right here, just something I did for my personal self, but customers do use it or whatever. But here's something, I'll throw this out there. It's something I do. We all see people comment in the groups. Nice color combination, nice colors. Hey, I agree, outstanding. But I'll take a mental note, and I'll actually sometimes I'll go and write these things down. I will ask people, what color is that? And I'm looking for a specific answer. I don't want red. I want imperial red, burgundy, maroon. I want the exact specific color. And even so, where'd you order it from? You see what I'm saying? That way I'll know exactly what color that is. And what they're making, what 2 colors or 3 colors or 4 colors or whatever the case may be, what colors they have used, and see it in that bracelet. I just make a mental note of the 2 colors that or the 3 colors they've used and the fact that they look good together. Just make a mental note of that. And that way when I go to make something, you know, I've got an idea already. Man, those 2 colors look good together. And I know we've all taken, well, not all of us, but many of us probably took some sort of basic art class in school. And we learned, what would you call it, color theory? Primary colors, secondary colors, complementing colors, tertiary colors. You know, all that kind of stuff. We learned all that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look up color theory. Go look. Learn about that. Most of these paracord websites have some information about that. It's basic. It's simple. It's not anything advanced. It's just a color wheel and what colors tend to be more aesthetically pleasing to the eye, if that makes sense. Some colors just do not go together, and some colors go together better. But that's something to look into. But, I don't know, I think I've talked and rambled long enough. Hopefully somewhere in there, you know, for those of you who are new, watch the videos. Yes, there's tutorials and books, and practice. I mean, watch videos and practice stuff. That's the most important thing. I tell people this all the time. Practice, patience, and, you know, persistence. The more you do this, the more you will learn. Just practice, practice, practice. And don't ever see anything as, man, I messed that up. No, you didn't mess it up. You learned one way not to do it. But with that, I'll end this like I end them all. Just remember, neat, clean, and tight. And with that, happy weaving, folks.